Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eva if you're new here, and today I thought I would talk about New Year's resolutions. I hope everyone is having a good end to 2021, but I think we can all agree that this has been a crazy year. I know the end of the year can sometimes be really crazy and really rushed too. I cannot believe that it's already the end of December, but I am giving thought to some of my goals for 2022. With everything going on in the world, I do think it's important to remain flexible, but at the same time, I do also feel like it's important to have some good goals and a good plan set up for the new year to keep your motivation up. I thought in this video I would share some of my reflections for 2021 and also some of my thoughts moving into 2022, some things that I think I really enjoyed in 2021 that I did, and some things that I didn't like that I did, and things that I kind of want to work on coming in the new year. I'm also going to share some things for you guys to think about in terms of making your own resolutions, and I'm going to list what my specific resolutions are. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you want to see more videos like this, and comment down below what some of your New Year's resolutions are or what you're kind of thinking about in terms of goals for the new year. Let's get started. Okay, so it can be kind of overwhelming to think about goals because there's so many different areas of our lives that we kind of want to work on. At least for myself, I think of like all these areas that I'm like, oh, I want to work on that. Oh, I want to work on that. Oh, don't forget about this. Because what is there? There's like career, fitness, and health, um, work, personal growth and development, spirituality or religion, friendships, relationships, family. There's just so much to think about. It can be a little bit overwhelming. So sometimes I like to just check in with myself and say, okay, if I were to rate different areas of my life, what would it be out of a scale of 10? So that kind of helps break it down and make it seem a little less overwhelming. So the things that you rate higher are maybe you don't need to make, specific goals to work on that. You're content with how that's going, or whatever plan you have put in place is working for you and it is successful. And then the things that you're rating a little bit low, maybe there needs to be something that you work on. So for example, if you're very happy with your job, you rate it like a 9 out of 10, that might not be an area to work on. But if you're noticing that you're maybe not happy or maybe not sleeping enough, you're not feeling energized, you aren't prioritizing some self-care, that's an area that you should maybe put a goal into place for 2022 so that you can eventually rate that higher. So that's a good way to start if you're starting to think about, what should my resolutions be? We tend to make these giant resolutions that don't really have any weight or don't really motivate us, like, oh, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds, or oh, I'm gonna spend more time with friends, or oh, I'm gonna go on this diet for the entire year, every day. But when you think about it, they're not really realistic goals. Everybody tends to focus on the big one, which is losing weight, getting healthier, going to the gym more. But it's more so like, how can you put that plan into place and make realistic goals for yourself so that you're really working towards that without making this blanket statement of, oh, I'm going to do this every day of the year and that's just how it's going to be, and keeping it in your mind as something that you know you're going to do, but in reality, it might take more work than you think. So when coming up with resolutions, it would be a good idea to make smaller goals that relate to your bigger goal, but smaller goals that can actually keep you motivated, that you can accomplish and see results with. So eventually, over time, you will accomplish that bigger goal. So I made a list of 4 things that you guys can keep in mind to help you formulate some New Year's resolutions and figure out what might be important for you to focus on. The first thing is, what are you passionate about? What really gets you up in the morning? What fulfills you? What drives you? Is it health and fitness? Is it self-development? Is it your career? Is it spending more time with family or friends or in relationships? What really motivates you and what do you really want to build goals in? Another thing is, what didn't work before? Did you make a resolution in 2021 that did not work out for you? And is that something that you want to continue to address one day, but maybe change it up a little bit? Why didn't that work? What were you doing that just was not successful? So maybe, for example, if your goal is to lose weight and you made a resolution of going to the gym a lot, but it just was not working out, why didn't it work out? Did you not have enough time? Did you not have enough energy? Are you just not a gym person? Did you want to stay at home? How can you address that goal in a different light? Maybe you can work out at home. Maybe you can follow some workout videos. Maybe you can work out at a friend's house. Switch it up so you're still thinking of a way to successfully accomplish that goal of losing weight. On the flip side, what did you do in 2021 that worked? Can you continue doing that into the new year? Can you make that another goal in a different area of your life? Figure out what worked and what didn't work. Almost like how I mentioned in my routines video, you have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and then shape that into something that you think you will succeed at. Another thing that I wrote down on my list is something I mentioned earlier, which is breaking a bigger goal down into smaller steps. So really break it down into things that you can see progress with each day or each week or each month that will eventually lead you to accomplishing your bigger goal. It just makes you have a greater sense of control, and you do have more control because these are smaller things that you can accomplish daily or weekly or monthly that will set you closer to your goal. And finally, create a plan. Write it down, buy a planner, get a journal. Put your thoughts that are floating around in your head on paper, and don't just keep it up there and say, oh, I'll do this eventually. Really make a good plan for yourself that you can visualize, you can see it, and check it off. If you accomplish something, check it off. Even if it's something simple as, oh, I went to the gym today. Oh, I ate healthy today. Oh, I budgeted today. Something that you can visually see yourself checking off and accomplishing. So in terms of my 2021, I wrote down also things that I didn't like that I did and things I did like that I did. It's always interesting to sit down at the end of the year and really give thought to things that you didn't do that you wish you accomplished and things that you did accomplish, because it also reminds you of all the things that happened in one year. A year is a very long time, so you really start to break down like, oh, I remember in the beginning of the year I did this, or oh, I really felt this way over the summer, or you start to really piece it all together so you can look at the year as a whole. So one thing I wish I did in 2021 is prioritize my finances more. I tried budgeting for a month or two, and I just did not have a plan to do it. I just kind of did it randomly here and there, or I would write it down in the notebook in a very disorganized way, or I would be very organized for a week or two, but not so much after that. But I really do wish that I had budgeted more, saved more, been just more mindful of my finances, and realized how much it would have helped looking back now, right now in this moment, if I had budgeted earlier in the year. Another thing I wish that I did more of is meditation. I really tried to meditate a lot. I benefit a lot from meditation, and it really helps me in my morning routine. It is a part of my morning routine. And I'm not saying I didn't ever do it, but I wish I had done it every day. And I know that's kind of that generalized goal that I just said to avoid. But I think for me, because it's incorporated into my morning routine, which is broken down into steps, I think it's worth it. I really do wish that I had meditated more, even if it was just 5 minutes a day, in the morning or night, because the benefits for myself are just great. Along with that, I wish that I had done more journaling or more spiritual practices, just more self-reflection, and really prioritize that part of my life. I gave a lot of focus on health and fitness, but I tend to not give as much focus as much as I would like on spiritual practices and self-development. I do a lot of it, but I wish that I could become more consistent with it. The third thing that I wish I had done more of is time management. I wish that I could have made more lists of things I needed to get done daily, because I noticed that the couple of weeks that I did that throughout the year, where I really checked things off daily, smaller tasks, I tended to do them more often. So I would really get things done if I had a list every day where I could go through and check it off, rather than having it just floating around in my mind, and also managing my time better so that I could get things done in a more orderly fashion. That kind of goes back to like incorporating more meditation. If I had gone to bed earlier and woken up earlier, I may have had more time to fit meditation in. And finally, my fourth thing that I wish I would have done in 2021 is focus more on music. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a musician, and I actually have another channel. I'll link it down below. It's my music YouTube channel. I wish I would have devoted more time to music. I wish I practiced piano more. I wish I just composed more. I wish I just dedicated more of my time to really doing something that I love. Okay, so moving on to the more positive things that I think I did this year. I learned a ton about myself. I really think that this year was a huge year for learning a lot about myself. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, just recognizing things about myself and recognizing things about myself in relation to others, and just really owning myself, and not saying I'm perfect. I have a long way to go, but just becoming more comfortable with yourself and not owing anyone anything, and just really not apologizing for being who you are, or just having self-respect. I think that's something that a lot of people need to or want to work on or struggle with. It's hard. It's very hard, in my opinion, to work on that. But I think everyone struggles with it, to be honest. So I think this was a really good year in terms of my growth about learning about myself and how I react to certain things, and things that I should really do more of and do less of, and others' influence on you, and how much of that should really impact you or affect you, and how much you should put up some boundaries sometimes. I think it was a really good year for self-growth. I also think this was a good year in terms of exploring my career. I think that I made some choices that allowed me to develop in my career, and I also focused a lot on growth in terms of knowledge in my field. And yeah, I really think I made some good choices in terms of development in terms of my job. I also think that this year I spent a lot more time with my family and friends, and I really appreciated that. Sometimes I tend to live in the moment where I don't really realize the value of spending time with those who I love. And I think this year I spent a lot of good quality time with my friends and family, that I really cherish, and I'm glad that I did, and I think that's something that I can continue to do in the upcoming year as well. And finally, the last thing that I think I really did in 2021 that benefited me was I was much more disciplined. Although there were some things that I wish I had done better, or I wish that I had done more of, I do think that I put a lot of time and effort into trying to create plans, trying to assess goals, really putting effort into doing things every day to accomplish various things. Even if it wasn't as organized as I had hoped or consistent, I really do think that my efforts towards staying motivated and staying driven really paid off, and I think that it's a good way to move into the new year. So I really think that knowing I still have that motivation and drive to be more organized, and that certain things worked, I can use that and maybe just tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit more organized for the new year, and continue to do so in a more efficient way. So here are my 4 New Year's resolutions for 2022. Number 1, I want to be more flexible with my diet and exercise. I noticed this past year that first of all, I'm incredibly overachieving when it comes to diet and exercise. I'm the kind of person that will be like, I'm not going to eat carbs for 3 months at all, ever, and that's it. No excuses. Or I'm going to work out every single day for 45 minutes at the gym and do like muscle work these days, do cardio this day, like very rigid when it comes to health and exercise. And I've been like that for years. This, I'd say in the past, like 2 months, 3 months, which by the way, I'm going to be doing an update on my diet and fitness. I've been filming for the past 3 months check-ins with regard to that. I've noticed that when I ate, like I had a cheat meal, I don't really like calling it cheat meals, but when I strayed from my diet, nothing happened. I was actually very successful in losing some of my COVID weight so far. I'm not where my goal is, but and I still ate occasionally for the holidays. I had like a couple meals here and there that weren't the best for me, and nothing happened that was major. And I think letting go of that idea, and I'm sure a lot of people have this, where they think that if they eat like a really bad meal, something major is going to happen. They're going to gain a ton of weight. But what they say in terms of like it takes a long time to gain the weight, so it's going to take, or it takes a long time to lose the weight, so it's going to take a long time to gain the weight back. It's true. You really don't gain a lot of weight from just eating a bad meal. I ate pretty, there were some days I ate like 3 days in a row, not the greatest, and I still, nothing happened. I maybe gained like a pound. So I really want to be more flexible with that. Same with exercise. I think I'm less motivated if I make a plan to go to the gym 7 days a week and then I end up missing a day. I get really disappointed and discouraged, and then it spirals, and then I don't go the next day, and I don't go the next day, or I think it's not benefiting me. Whereas if I make a plan of working out like 3 days a week, I think that's a good goal to have, and I'll feel really accomplished. So that's my resolution number one. My resolution number two is to budget. Budget. I am going to budget like crazy. I actually I ordered a budget planner. I'm going to be doing a planner video soon, so stay tuned. But I ordered a budget planner, and I'm also going to try out cash envelopes because I think that, again, I'm learning more about myself. I'm realizing that I don't think cards are the best thing for me. I never thought I would be that person to just think that swiping wouldn't affect me, or right, wouldn't affect me, but I think that having physical cash helps me visually see like what I have and what I don't have. So I'm going to be focusing a lot on budgeting, cash envelope system, really assessing like what I can afford and what I can't afford, saving challenges. I'm really going to be diving deep into that. So, and documenting it. So, those videos will come. My third resolution is to be more active with my spiritual practices. I mentioned this earlier. I'm really going to prioritize meditating, even if it's for a few minutes every day. I think that would be great if I could really get onto a consistent schedule with that. Continuing to grow, personal development growth. Journaling, I really want to focus on. I really did not journal a lot, and I planned and I did guided journals, but I didn't really just journal for myself or do workbooks or anything like that for most of the year, which I really want to get back to. And just like being more mindful. Like one goal I had was to be more patient with others and to notice like when triggers come up, not only like why they're coming up, but in the moment learning how to handle it, and maybe like responding to other people in a different way, which has changed how I look at things and it's helped me. So I want to continue working on that. Along with that, also more active self care rather than, or in addition to passive. So, like meditation and journaling to me are active self care practices. I will still do things like take a bath or sleep a lot, or, like more passive things, but I want to be more active with my self care and my practices and self development and things that take time and energy to do that will pay off in the long run. And my fourth resolution is to devote time to thinking about my goals and passions. I have a lot of interests and a lot of passions, and they're kind of jumbled right now. I can't keep them straight, and I don't really have a plan for them. So I'm going to be spending some time thinking about which area I want to focus on, or which areas I want to focus on, creating some plans, going step by step. But I'm also still thinking long term. So hopefully by 2023, I'll have a better sense of who I am, or what drives me, or what interests me. I'm getting there, but there needs to be some thought put to that as well, just so I'm not all over the place and disorganized in my brain. So yeah, those are my New Year's resolutions. And again, like, keep goals simple, keep them small. You really want achievable, realistic goals so that you can eventually get to your bigger goals and it doesn't seem quite so overwhelming. Like I said, a year is a very long time to devote to particular goals, so make it something that you enjoy, make it something that you're passionate about, that you really want to see yourself, um, in a different place in 2023, so that you can say, oh yeah, I really accomplished that resolution or those resolutions, and I can use that moving forward into the next year. So, yeah, I hope these tips helped you. I hope you guys are thinking about your New Year's resolutions, even with everything else going on. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications so you are notified whenever I post videos. I'm really going to be focusing on posting more YouTube videos in the next coming year. Another resolution, I didn't add that in here. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.